Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva. We just had Earth Day. I don't know if any of you guys celebrate Earth Day. I do. Every Earth Day, I like to wake up, go into my backyard, lay stomach on the grass, and give it a great big hug. And I say, thank you, Earth, for making, for giving me a home, and for not being like the other planets in our solar system that cannot house life at all. At least life for me, because I'm used to life here. I have taken, as a species, many millennia to adapt to this planet's atmosphere, ecology, weather, climate, and now I am here. I just want to say thank you, Earth, for letting me live on your planet, and for the most part, a very easy way of life. No, I'm kidding. Of course I did not do that. But I wouldn't be surprised if people did that on Earth Day. You know, Earth Day has always been a day where I'm like, why do we have that? Who invented that? But I looked it up. Apparently it's to celebrate the environment and, promote protection of the environment of Earth, which I am fully in support of. I mean, at the moment, we only have Earth that could house us as a home, so we might as well take care of it as best we can. There's no really downside to not take care of it. I mean, to me, it makes sense. Why not just take care of the planet that we live on, right? It's like cleaning your room. You live in that room. You sleep there. You might as well keep it tidy, keep it organized, keep it clean. Don't let it get too messy, right? Same with the planet. Right? We always have these efforts to, put trash in the ground where we don't want to see it, right? Don't act like you don't know, right? There's these things called landfills where I've seen videos where they get a bunch of trash from our garbage cans that we're going to throw away, and they bury it in the earth. Maybe not the best place to put it, but you know what? Happy Earth Day, you know what I'm saying? That's also kind of wild, though, to think about. Like, we take trash that we don't want, right? My leftover Wingstop that went bad, I threw it in the garbage can, and now they're gonna put it in a hole in the earth. Isn't that miraculous? Isn't that beautiful? Nothing is better. Nothing describes human beings better than wanting to get rid of something, and our best idea is to bury it so we won't see it again. Could you imagine, like, if we did not have that idea? Like, that is totally a human solution right there. Just bury it. Get rid of it. How? Bury it. Duh. I mean, I've seen videos of where they fill these things up with just piles and piles and just tons of garbage, right? And then they begin to bury it, the process of burying it. Like these giant crater-sized, meteor-sized holes in the earth where they just bury garbage. And they're just like, all right, we'll just leave it there, I guess. I mean, can it do no wrong? It probably does a ton wrong, but we just kind of like turn a blind eye to it, like, I didn't see that. All I see is a nice plot of flat land that kind of stinks, but after time it'll be all right. I imagine that was a solution way back in the day, just bury our garbage, right? But now it probably is not the best idea to continue. Probably not the best practice to continue, considering that garbage then was not as bad as garbage is now. Now, I'm not the most eco-friendly guy. Okay, I'll be honest. I'm not the most planet-friendly dude out there. I drive a car that takes up gas. So according to most people that are super environmental safe I'm already not doing my part. I don't have a car that runs on electricity, so I use gas, so I guess I'm a barbarian to some people, right? So I'm not the most earth friendly guy, if we can just call it that. I'm not the biggest protector of earth as I would like to think that I am. But if you can only imagine, garbage back then, not as bad as garbage today. Don't lie to yourself. You've thrown away batteries before. You've thrown away things that you know cannot be thrown away. Don't lie to yourself. You know you've gone to the dump and you've snuck in something that you know damn well cannot be tossed out, but you got away with it anyway. You're like, well, I just needed to get rid of this. This was in my backyard, rotting for so many years. I had to get rid of it. It was starting to stink. I've been there. I've done that. And I try to do my best part, right? That's why they invented recycling. So you can feel like you're doing your part, like you are helping the planet. This blue container of where I don't throw away pizza, but I throw away the pizza box. Where I don't throw away soda, but I'll throw in the soda can. Where I will throw in plastic bottles and it will be taken to a special place where they do garbage, where it will be turned into recycled plastic, which will then be reused, or recycled cardboard that will be reused, that we don't have to continue to manufacture new plastic or new cardboard, right? That to me at least was how I viewed it back then. Is that this is good because they told me it was good and because it will recycle whatever I'm throwing away technically and make it into something new. That way it's not being recreated in a factory, right? That's what I think. Do I believe that is entirely perfectly true? I don't know. Because who's in charge of the recycling plantations or the recycling plants? Who's in charge of the recycling plants? Human beings are. Me and you. People like us. And are we, I'm going to ask you this question. Would you consider us to be the most perfect species on the planet? Absolutely 100% not. We are not perfect. We may be the best, but we're not perfect in what we do and what we choose to do and how we go about things and how we create things or destroy things. We're not the most perfect people out there. Perfect beings, I guess you could say. We are far from it. At least that's how I view it. There's no way that I would consider humanity a perfect species. Yes, we may look perfect in our eyes, right? Compared to a bug, right? Am I superior to a bug? Are you superior to a bug? Ask yourself that question, and you will say, yes, I am. I am far superior to a bug. That fly over there, I am greater. I have a greater being than that bug, that fly right there. I am a greater being. I am. Who's to decide that? You, the person who claims they are greater than a fly? Of course you would. But what about to the eyes of God? Are you superior to a fly? I don't know. That's a great question. But then again, God did create us in his image. Correct? Isn't that what it said in the Bible? I don't know if that's true or not, but I've heard that tossed around quite a bit in my days growing up, becoming, from a boy to a teen to an adult with religion in my life. Heard that quite a bit. You were created in his image, which I tend to believe is true. How come nothing on the planet looks similar to us? There's no bear that looks kind of like me. I've looked. Trust me. I look up a lot of bears on the internet. Bear fights, bear comparisons, bear huntings, like bears hunting for like salmon and elk and stuff like that. There's no tiger that looks like me. There's no lion that looks like me. I've heard this said many times to me that we share a lot of our DNA with a banana. I don't think I look like a banana whatsoever. Whatever that may mean, whatever that means to you, nothing resembles us on this planet besides us. Maybe chimpanzees to an extent, but even then you're like, you look at one and you're like, well, I don't walk on all fours. I'm not covered in hair. My feet are not like hands. I think I'm fairly different from a chimpanzee. I'm not a monkey. I don't got a tail or a gorilla, right? So we are unique in our own way, and we feel that we are superior to every being out there, including a bug, which I think that we can all agree, yeah, I'm more superior to a bug. But you know what? Bugs are a part of Earth. They're a part of the ecosystem that make Earth so special. If you take out bugs, right? Let's say you take out bees. We've all seen this before in the Bee movie. You take out bees, right? The Supreme Court in that movie wants to essentially get rid of bees and beehives because someone got injured, and they held the bees in question, and they took the bees to court, and they were like, you know what, bees, we're done with you. We're gonna put you in captivity, right? We're gonna enslave you. You listen to us. You will not be free people, free insects, I should say. And what happened in the Earth in that movie? It was all colorful, green, pink, beautiful planet with a bunch of plants and vegetation. And they took away the bees, and it became soulless, lifeless, colorless, and pretty much uninhabitable, or a little bit in that movie. And I believe that is true. Bees and every insect that, every life form that is on this planet is detrimental to the other's way of life and survival, I think. If you look at just like the jungle, right? Or maybe not the jungle, but like the wilderness in America, right? The deer population is controlled by wolves, bears, other meat-eating animals that like deer, from it to keep it in check, to not have it overwhelmingly deer. It's very important. There's nothing really for us that's keeping us in check. We just kind of, roam as we want. We have no one to hunt us, at this moment. So that's how it is. And I thank God that's how it is. And I think that, it's beautiful in a way. But also, it's kind of messed up. We don't really fall under any food chain or chain of command or animal kingdom. We're just us. And, the only people that kill humans is humans. So, just kind of keeping it like that, Happy Earth Day. I did mention Jesus before in this little spiel, and it does, bring me to this event that just happened, right? A couple days ago. Unfortunately, the day after Easter, the Pope Francis, died. The Pope. I think I have been alive for one Pope passing. I believe that was John Paul II when he passed away. And then the next Pope was Pope Benedict. And then it was Pope Francis. And now we are in the what is it called? The conclave. The process of selecting a new pope, right? Now, of course, I'm incredibly sad. The head of the Catholic Church, my beautiful faith, is without a leader, is without a person in charge. A lot of the things that get, distributed down to every Catholic church in the planet come from the Pope. The Pope's decisions. He controls what is said in church, how it's, delivered, who delivers it, and all that. And now that guy is gone. And now there's a process of how to elect a new pope, which takes a while, I think. I think at least it won't happen for like another 2 weeks, I believe, because this is like a mourning period of the pope. And I'm just, now that I am a fully conscious and fully aware and fully educated man at the time of this happening, I can really like zero in on this and see how it is done. Because it is, while tragic, quite interesting on how this happens. The Pope and the Catholic Church are one of the older things that we have in modern day, time, that you can look at and be like, wow, that is so like ancient, the way this is all being done, right? In fact, it is ancient. I mean, Rome is still considered its own country. It's still today its own country. Or not Rome, sorry, the Vatican. The Vatican is considered its own country. So, it's interesting how this is going to play out. Now that I am a fully grown man with a brain, I will be looking at this and seeing how it is conducted and what the process is going to be. There's a couple guys, maybe not a couple, but like several guys, I think, that are already in line to be the next pope. I have no idea who they are, right? But they all look like they could be popes. Every single one of them has that pope look. We're like, you're just walking down the street, right? In the Vatican, you see a cardinal and you look at him and you'll be like, yeah, pope. Dude could be a pope. But I think that all the cardinals in the Vatican, they're cardinals because they love being Roman Catholic and they love Jesus Christ so much that they devote their lives to this. So I kind of wonder, like, do these guys also get chosen to be cardinals because they also have the appearance of a pope? I picture a pope could not be somebody like me, right? The way I look, I'm not a pope-like figure. Now, I maybe when I get older, I can grow into it. I could be like, I could get, the features that a pope has, that a pope should have, right? Kind of thinning hair, very stoic, knowledgeable looking face, kind of a large head, not too much hair, and just kind of like a pleasant, like, not like a overwhelmingly positive, but like a soft smile, right? That I feel like is like a very popey look, right? Not a overly aggressive, bright smile, maybe not a whole lot of hair, but like a, just like a gentle appearing looking guy is like what I view as a pope, like a gentle looking guy, like a soft looking guy. I don't have that yet. Maybe I could be that. Maybe I will become, pope like in the future. Maybe like one day I'll just like lose all my hair and just become like this guy who looks like, hey, you could be pope. But I've seen the lineup. The guys coming in, the top dudes, they all look like they could become pope. And there's different types of popes. There's more liberal popes. There's more conservative popes. I mean, I didn't even know that was a thing until like this this like graphic I saw on the internet of like what this guy believes in. Did this guy align with the previous pope? Turns out he didn't. This guy did. This guy sort of did, and this guy really didn't. All those guys are now up for choosing of who's going to be the next pope. So we could get an entire, like, almost like another realignment, or not realignment, but enlightenment of the Catholic Church that could be upon us within like the next month. So it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. Now, I know that there was recently a movie that released sort of on this topic, not the exact, circumstances, but it was called Conclave, starring Ray Fiennes. And I haven't seen the movie. I probably won't see it, but it is kind of crazy how a year prior, they have a movie about the Pope dying and them selecting a new Pope, and a year later, the real life Pope, Pope Francis, dies, and now we had this whole thing happening. Quite insane, actually. I wonder how the people who made the movie feel about that. It's obviously it's not their fault. They have no responsibility towards it, but it is kind of bizarre how like you make a movie about the Pope dying and selecting a new Pope, and just a year later the Pope actually does die. It is kind of strange when you really think about it. You're like, whoa, what a turn of events. Speaking of turn of events, for me personally, my life has gotten a little complicated in terms of like my oral hygiene. Not that I'm like I have like anything bad right now, but I recently got back today from doing a filling in my mouth. I gotta say, man, I'm sick and tired of getting fillings, man. I really am. I think I've had like maybe 4, maybe 3 filling repairs / redos / a new filling in the past like 5 years. Maybe like 3 in the last 5, right? Not terrible, but like also like not like where I want to be in my oral hygiene status. I'd rather have no fillings having to do whatsoever at all. And I had to do one today, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not a guy who enjoys having, their mouth abused that way. I'm just kidding, it's not really abused, but it's definitely like kind of like, it's not abuse, I'm just joking. It's definitely kind of like a little bit of a, tinkering, fix up, repair. What's under the hood? Let me take a look, right? It's not a fun experience at all. In fact, it's a kind of it's a long one. I dread it quite a bit because I've experienced it a few times, and I really don't like it at all. First of all, I'm not a needle guy. Needles to me, shots, I don't like whatsoever. I could never get a tattoo because of how much I hate needles. Not that I would want a tattoo. I don't want a tattoo, but like if I had to get one, and the only way to do it was like you got one path, right? How do I get this thing on my arm that's cool, that lasts forever? Well, that's called a tattoo, sir, and it requires a needle. I'm out. Like that to me is like I'm out. I don't want to get poked with a needle. And today, I went in. I was praying to God. I'm like, Jesus Christ, please. Like, I don't know if there's like I think that I've had a situation where I needed a filling, like redone, a touch up, whatever. And I'm pretty sure this happened in my life, where it was such a small cavity that I did not need any shots. Nothing. The guy just went in, and then it was like gone. And I was praying to God, like, maybe this is gonna be it today. Like maybe that's gonna be it. Just like a small little shaving. That's it. I wouldn't need, anything else, and I'm cool to go, and then I'm free, and then no numbing. As soon as I walk in, yeah, so we're gonna numb you up, and I'm like, God damn it. I mean, I'm a grown man, right? I am. I don't like it. I not like I fear it. I would just rather not have to do that. Put myself through that kind of pain. And it's not really that painful, but today, the shots, I definitely felt a little bit more than I would like to. I'll be honest. They always do the same thing, right? They open your mouth, they they see what's in there, and then there's this X-ray that's on my left of the tooth that they're gonna patch up, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, what the hell? This looks perfectly fine. Why am I here? May I remind you, I'm no doctor. I'm no dentist, so I don't know what I'm looking at, but I'm trying to see. I've seen this a lot of times in my life. I'm looking at the X-ray. I'm glancing, I'm squinting, and I'm like, this looks perfect. What the hell? What happened? Now, of course, I'm not going to ask the hygienist or the doctor questions, right? I'm no doctor. I'm no hygienist. I'm no expert. I'm no dentist, right? So I just kind of like, all right, do whatever you got to do. Lay me back, shoot me up. Let's go. I'm ready. And it's not like an any old procedure, right? A filling is like, I consider it an operation because they kind of put me on a sedative, whatever it may be. Novocaine, I don't know what it's called, but they shoot me up. For some reason, they got to put, the topical cream on my gums, around my teeth, on like the side of my cheek. And that numbs it up a little bit. It's weird. It's fast acting. You're like, how is this even possible? What is even in this? And then you're like, whatever. Let's just get this done. And then they come in with the syringes and the needles. And I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, maybe like one shot and I'm good, right? I mean, this is an entire vial of medicine that's in there. I would assume it could do the job, modern day medicine. I mean, let's shoot me up and let's go. No, not just one, not two either. 3 shots, 3 syringe fulls, in different parts of my mouth, and I'm like, I can feel the chemicals like going into my jaw, and I'm getting like a zoom, like just feeling it go into me. I'm like, whoa, this is insane. All this for a filling, just to put a cap on my tooth, whatever. Okay, whatever. I mean, like, let's do it. So they shoot me up with this chemical. I don't even know what it's called, but it numbs me up, right? And, it takes a good while to numb you up. I realize that. Every time they, say, okay, we'll be back in, like, a few minutes. I'm like, I ain't feeling shit yet, so you better take yourself a while because I don't want you to start, chiseling my tooth away and I can feel every single thing that you're doing. So I go about 10 minutes, right? I'm waiting in there. I'm looking around. I don't want to be on my phone because they totally have a view of what over my shoulder of whatever I'm looking at. Now, I'm not looking at anything suspicious or what I shouldn't be, but I don't care, privacy, right? But then when you go in there, right, to get your teeth done, I mean, you're letting them look in your mouth. So you don't have that much privacy anyway. All your privacy in that chair is gone. So I'm like, you know what? I ain't even going to pull out my phone. I don't care. I'm just going to sit here and look up at the ceiling, at nothing, and just wait for this this medicine to kick in. And it's starting to kick in. I can feel it. It's kind of like starting to numb. My jawline is getting there. The side of my tongue is kind of getting a little cold. My lip is getting a little chilly. And then I'm like, okay, I'm feeling it, thank God. And I start to tap my cheek and my jawline, and I can still kind of feel a little bit. I'm like, all right, this is kind of working a little too slow here, I'll be honest. And then the doctor was a little on the late side, and I'm like, thank God, I don't want him to like just come in and start buzzsawing my molar, and I can feel every single thing that's happening. So I'm waiting and waiting and waiting. And then, like I said, like 10 to 11 minutes went by since they shot me up. And then he comes in, he's like, all right, you ready? You feel nice and numb? I'm like, yeah. Thinking to myself, like, this guy's a doctor, right? He should know exactly how long it takes for this medicine to actually kick in 100%. All right? He knows everything. I know nothing. I'm just going to keep quiet, keep my mouth shut, and just let him go to work. All right? So, I'm thinking to myself, like, it could feel number. It could feel a lot number. Right, I feel like it. I've done this a few times in the past 5 years. I know, like, when it is at the apex of numbness. This ain't quite it yet, but I'm gonna let you get away with this one time, Doc. Right? If I squeal 10, then it ain't ready. So he puts me down. I'm going down. Right. I begin to see him on my right, the hygienist on my left appear in my field of vision. They put me on these glasses. They shine the light in my eye. Right. And it's not just like, keep your mouth open as long as you can. They give you this device that goes into your mouth, right? And it's like it's like almost like a mouthpiece, but like with a straw or with a vacuum on it that sucks up all the tooth dust that's about to accumulate in your mouth because they're going to saw it to kingdom come, right? So that's like in my mouth, keeping my mouth like open. So I don't really need to use any of my own strength to keep my jaw open. Thank God. And then they get all these hoses and drills and buzz saws, in the field of vision of me. Doc has got like 2 things in his hand. The hygienist has another thing. And then like some kind of like weird light thing that makes no sense whatsoever. But they all have it in my mouth, right? I'm just getting like, I'm totally getting an exam, right? And they begin to Doc wastes no time. right? He doesn't even give it like a couple extra minutes for the numbness to kick in fully. He just, bzzz, and just goes in, right? And he's sawing away. It's a high pitched, buzz saw. It's really tiny. You're thinking to yourself like, do I really need a shot for this? Am I that much of a bitch? Or am I that much of a baby that I need medicine for this? And he's going at it. And I shit you not, about a minute in, my tooth feels, I can feel the coldness. Now, I'm assuming that's like the pain getting nerfed to just feel like a cold sensation, right? But I do feel it. I'm starting to get a little nervous that if Doc keeps going and gets a little closer, that I'm going to start to feel something that I don't want to feel. I've never had a incident where a filling is performed, right? Where I can actually feel actual pain. Thank God. But I was like, you know what? Today could be the day. Today could be one of the worst pains of my life, and I'm going to feel it hard and pretty much like it's coming, and I'm not going to totally know what to expect, but it's going to happen, and I'm going to freaking be in so much pain. I'm not a guy who deals with pain very well. I'm kind of a baby in that sense. Pain, I mean, I'll complain, but he's going at it, and he's shaving it down. And the last thing I remember was like they were going to replace a filling, right? So I guess they just cut out my old filling and put a new one in. And I'll be honest with you, as it was going, as it was carrying on, sawing, drilling, sucking, pause, and washing out my mouth, it went kind of quick. Doc was going pretty quick. I guess he was ready for lunch, but he got it out pretty quickly. And then, the worst part is like, I don't even know what's going on. Like, I'm not even walking through the procedure. I'm not even like walk through like, so I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna put in this, and then I'm gonna replace that, and I'm gonna tighten this up, and like, none of that goes on, right? He just goes at it. I would have preferred, to be walked through what's going on, because I don't know what's going on at all. All of a sudden, I see he's got like some kind of blue paste that he puts on my tooth. Another syringe type of thing that it looks like he's putting on my tooth or something like that. He's got like a plastic little like stem thing that he puts on, and then he comes in with pliers, and then literally like just puts the pliers in my mouth and clamps down and cuts something, and then takes it out. Like, what the hell did you even do? You just some pliers, you cut something, and then that was it. I didn't feel shit, thank God. But I'm like, what did you do? I have no idea what you done. Did you take out a tooth? Did you rip off a piece of my tooth? Like, did you break some of my teeth? I have no idea. But I will tell you this, though. That action of him, clamping down the pliers and it actually snapping something kind of hit one of my other teeth. Didn't break it, didn't chip it, didn't do nothing, but I did feel it. I was like, oh, shit. This dude really wants to go to lunch. But anyway, the procedure, the operation went well, right? Actually kind of quicker than I thought it would be. But nonetheless, once it was completely done, I couldn't even speak. My mouth and my tongue were just like not going to open. They weren't going to open. They had a bad taste in my mouth. The left side of my jaw was just like completely numb. Couldn't open it that much. My mouth felt like slimy. And I was just like, ugh, for Christ's sake, like, this is terrible, and I don't know what I have to do now. I brush my teeth twice a day. I floss every single day, multiple times a day. He said there wasn't a cavity like 4 months ago when I got a checkup. So I'm assuming nothing, got worse. It was just a replacement, because I think he said before that it was like broken. But I mean, it seems like kind of a lot of a procedure just to repair a filling, which, you know what, I'm kind of being a baby about it. At the end of the day, it was a repair, which I needed, because if I didn't get that, it would have gotten a lot worse, which I don't want to happen, right? I don't think anybody wants their teeth to be in a worser situation that they already are. It got repaired. I'm okay. I survived. The numbness is gone. The pain is gone. It's just something that, you never want to go through. Right. And now I have to think to myself, like, I mentioned before, my oral hygiene is a bit in question. Like, are my teeth getting weaker? Are they getting bad? Am I soft? Are my teeth weak? Like, what do I need to do to make them stronger? I already have some pretty good toothpaste, to prevent cavities and all that stuff. Seems to be sort of working, but I guess, like, I don't want to get any more cavities. I'm already 31 years old. I can't afford to get any more cavities. I really can't. I don't want to, first of all. I thought, honestly, that, when I gave up soda and candy for Lent, that it would help, but I guess it really didn't. I mean, it kind of did a little bit. I'm not going to lie. It kind of did. I guess it kind of stopped it from progressing, right? I didn't get a cavity because my filling was broken. Like, it didn't get any worse. At least that's not what he told me. But next time I go, I'm gonna really look at those X-rays and try to look and see what they're seeing that isn't right. And I've actually tried looking in the mirror, right? I open up my mouth wide. I get up close. I'm like, what is he talking about? I don't see shit. Where's this cavity? And I'll be honest, he does a good job with his fillings. He does a really good job. He uses the white material, so it doesn't look like I have any type of filling at all. So that's kind of a good thing. But yeah, I mean that's always good. But yeah, I think that's just like, at least my teeth are better, right? I mean, at least they're actually clean, so I don't have to worry about that stuff anymore. But on Easter, actually, I was at dinner. I was talking to my family, and my appointment did come up at the conversation at the dinner table. And I was talking to my mom, and we were remembering when she took me into the surgeon to get my wisdom teeth pulled. And we were talking about it. She was telling me that, I went under, got anesthesia, painkillers, and I was out. And I woke up and it was done. However, I do want to say this one thing. Now that I kind of think about it, and I'm trying to remember on what happened, that day, when I did get my wisdom teeth pulled, I do kind of remember, I know I was out, and then I woke up and it was done, but I don't know what it is, but like when I think about it now, I kind of feel like that there was a jolt, like some actual hard labor performed on my jaw to get my teeth like yanked out. I almost kind of sort of remember like the doctor like yanking at my teeth and like breaking something in my mouth. Like that like memory kind of like peeks through when I think about the day I got my wisdom teeth pulled. Like, I almost kind of remember like there being like a yanking feeling like in my jaw. Like, I don't feel any pain at all. I didn't feel it at all. But I do remember feeling like the sensation of my tooth being like broken, but no pain, if that makes any sense. And I was just like, whoa, like, was I supposed to feel that? Was I supposed to even remember that? Is that a thing that I should not have remembered? I have no idea, but like, I kind of think that is a true memory. Like, it's actually like what happened. And I'm like kind of like remembering it as I was talking about it at dinner. But I probably should not have remembered that because it should have been out cold. I guess I wasn't, but I've known people that have had that done to them, fully numb, but awake. Wisdom teeth pulled while being awake. I would not want to go through that whatsoever. I would want to be out cold and not have to worry about that, which I was, thank God. But I do kind of remember some sort of like yanking sensation of my teeth and a breaking of my teeth. I don't know if I'm just hallucinating or what, but I kind of remember that a little bit when I remember my wisdom teeth getting pulled. Anyways, though, moving on to other things in the realm of entertainment, right? Star Wars Starfighter is announced. A new movie from Star Wars starring Ryan Gosling, right? You all know him from Barbie as Ken. Some people know him from The Notebook, way back when, when they first might have seen the guy. Blade Runner 2049, good actor, right? In a movie called Star Wars Starfighter, directed by Sean Levy, most known for recently from as the director of Deadpool and Wolverine. A successful movie, billion-dollar movie. Kind of saved Marvel, if I'm being completely honest. But yeah, he's going to be helming this new Star Wars movie. And it was so funny because Star Wars thought it would be incredibly important if they released a teaser trailer for a movie that will be coming out next year. In fact, it already has a release date. May 28th, 2026. So that movie is already slotted to be coming out next year in May. And let me see. I think that I'm sorry. Not next year. 2027, my bad. May 28th, 2027 is when it will be coming out. But it's not much is known about it, although it does seem like this is going to be a movie about a fighter pilot in the Star Wars universe. The name suggests it. I didn't watch the press conference or the panel on it, but I did hear the announcement. And this is going to be taking place after the events of Star Wars Episode 9. That has already happened. I believe it's going to be 5 years after the events of that movie, which I couldn't care less about, but hey, this is where they want to go. It's going to be what seems to be a new cast of characters. I don't know exactly if this is going to be a good movie or not. Really, honestly, I have no idea. The guys in charge, Sean Levy and Ryan Gosling, seem like they could make a pretty good movie happen. But I do wonder, like, if this is going to be a movie that is going to, rekindle audiences and rekindle the fans to Star Wars. Like, if they will come back, liking the franchise again. I don't know. I'm pretty sure the Mandalorian and Grogu movie comes up before this one. I also could be very wrong, but I just don't really know too much about the Starfighter movie, even though it just sounds like it's going to be a fighter pilot Star Wars movie, which, in a way could be very cool. Could be an awesome movie, but also, potentially could be not that great, honestly, and we will see as time goes on if it does happen, right? How many times have we seen or heard of a Star Wars project get announced and it not happen? Lots of times it's happened. That's happened quite a few times, right? I don't know if this is going to happen. I can't guarantee you that I will see this movie because I don't know if it's going to be actually made. I don't even think Lucasfilm is, 100% sure that it will be made. I'm not too sure. I would like to see it be made. I would like it to be good. I would like it to bring back fans to Star Wars. That way they have something to watch, because we haven't had a Star Wars movie since 2019. Some could say that that's a good thing. Others a great thing. Me, personally, Star Wars is dead to me, so I don't really care. But I would like to care again. I don't want to not care. I would like to care again. I really, really would. And if this movie makes me care and makes me get into Star Wars again, then so be it. Then I'll hop on. I'll check it out. I will see it. But it's got to be actually made for me to care. There's a couple other movies that they have that are also going to be made. I believe that Rey movie is still coming out. And I believe that it is the Mandalorian and Grogu movie will be coming out as well. None has really been shown to the public besides the spectators at Star Wars Celebration. But, I mean, I won't believe it's actually going to be happening until I'm in the theater watching it. If I'm not in the theater watching it, it's probably not going to come out. in my opinion. I don't know. There's just so much with this franchise that has been not, hasn't been consistent and just is not, it just seems like there's no certainty. There's no like sense of like, oh, this is going to be coming out, or be ready for this. It's like, get ready and then no, it's canceled, So I can't really sit back here and tell you that, hey, this is coming out. This looks sick. Are you excited? When I don't even know if it's actually going to be coming out or not, because of their track record of releasing things and not really, it not even coming out, right? And it not seeing the light of day, getting shelved, getting canceled, getting rewritten to the death of it. I'm pretty sure they have not committed to canceling the Rian Johnson Star Wars trilogy just yet. Remember that when, before The Last Jedi came out, before the disaster that movie became and caused, it was reported that, I think a week or two before the movie even came out, that he was greenlit his own Star Wars trilogy, and that was going to come out in like the next like 3 years, 3 to 5 years or whatever. It's been 8 years, almost 8 years since that was, announced. Nothing's happened. No rumblings, no castings, no moving forward, no plans, no steps have been taken. Nothing's happened. It's just, you've heard nothing on it. You've heard that's going to happen. You've heard it's not going to happen. You've heard many different things. I mean, Rian Johnson, don't get me wrong, is a good filmmaker. He makes some good movies, right? But it seems like nowadays when he's doing all these Knives Out movies, he might be a little busy to focus on a Star Wars trilogy. Maybe because it's not going to be happening after all. But I could be wrong. I don't want to see him totally not be able to do something that he wants to do, right? He should be able to, if he has the chops for it, if he has the ideas for it, if he has the support, he should be able to do it. 100%. But I guess we won't know until it's actually officially canceled. If it actually, in fact, does get officially canceled or not, or gets approved and it gets a release date and a green light, then I'll be wrong. Then we'll all be wrong. But until then, we'll never know. Also, speaking of Star Wars, I have seen the first 3 episodes of Andor Season 2. And I have some thoughts. I've got some thoughts on this 3-episode premiere. First of all, I thought that 3 episodes was kind of a lot for a premiere, but then I believe last season also had a 3-episode premiere. And the cool thing about this show, Andor, is that this is like treated as its own storyline. These 3 episodes was almost like one movie. But not really, because it's still a show, so it has some through-line things that need to be solved and the cliffhanger stuff. So it's not really technically a movie. It's still an arc that was completed, but not a full-fledged story like in a movie you would get. But let's talk about the episodes that we got so far. We got 3 of them, all pretty decently length, and all pretty good episodes. I will admit, like, they were really good, shot well, story-driven, very, very strong dialogue, like very good dialogue for a Star Wars project. Really, really solid stuff, right? Not a ton of action, right? This is TV, so we can't really have too much action here and there. We gotta, spread it out a little bit. Gotta drag some things out. As much as people hate when I say sometimes shows drag out, it's just the truth. I mean, they have an hour-long episodes. These 3 episodes were like almost an hour long each. Telling a story, and you gotta sometimes have to drag it out a bit just to get to that runtime. And you can kind of feel it here and there in some of the episodes. There's a lot of the episodes are really good. There's a couple moments where you're like, I don't really think that we should be sticking on this for this long, I'll be honest. Or maybe this one is not as interesting as this other storyline. But nonetheless, the episodes are really good, right? They're shot well, like I said, acted very well. The cameos are good. The through line of this is that, the Empire is getting stronger and stronger, and they're going to be more and more menacing and more ruthless as this show goes on. And you see that. You get a taste of it. Like, all right, the Empire is really stepping up. They don't want any type of setback in their quest for galactic domination, right? It's happening, right? And you guys have seen in the trailers, and it's already been announced, and you already know this. This is not a spoiler. But Ben Mendelsohn's director Krennic from Rogue One is already in this season, and he's fantastic. He's back. You know his motive. You know his end game. But now you get to see the beginnings of this project, right? Him creating the Death Star and how he has to get political. He has to try to persuade people. He has to, use his might and his power to get what he wants and to get the support that he needs from the rest of the Empire for this to be created. And you see the workings of that, and then you're just like, wow, this has really been thought out. All of it's been thought out so well, and how this, you get from point A to point B with these storylines, and it's done really, really well. I have to say, it's done so well that you're just like, wow, this is like really good storytelling for Star Wars. Like, you wouldn't really expect that in Star Wars, but it's kind of crazy, I do have a critique of it, though. There's a storyline that is honestly, like, I would rather it not even be in the show at all. It's with the character who was not for the Empire, but he was like the security bureau or something like that. I think his name is Sorrel, and the one Empire lady, like they're like a relationship and all that. And there is I guess that's not the spoiler. You got that in the last season, but a little bit of a spoiler here. They're like on a date, and he brings his mom over, and the date is like not going well at all. His mom's not vibing with his girlfriend, and it was just like the weirdest part of any show that you could ever experience, but they decided to put it in this show, and you're just kind of watching it like, why is this even in here? Like, this is like totally not like why I would watch a Star Wars show. It's acted well, it's good, but it's like, this should not be in this at all. Like, this is so lame. I'm sorry, but I did think that entire part of the arc and part of the 3 episodes was just kind of unnecessary. And I was just like, I mean, like, it was just an awkward date that did not need to be in the episode whatsoever. I just thought it was kind of a waste of time. I'm just sitting there watching it, and I'm like, really? We're spending like 20 minutes on this? We could be watching other things. Like, this is an interesting, turn, but hey, whatever. Maybe it'll lead to something more, important. I don't know if it will, but hey, I'm not a writer of a show. I'm not a showrunner. I'm not that smart when it comes to that type of stuff. But, it was good. It could have used a little bit more action. The storytelling is definitely pretty good in the show. The characters are definitely acting very well. You kind of see where other, characters are being taken, and they're changing of their perspectives and how they view things is changing. The character of Andor himself, though, is, the star of the show. Like, his story and his struggles are just like the best part of these episodes, 100%. And like, you just kind of want more of like Cassian Andor's character. Like, I could deal without the awkward date. Just give me more of like Cassian Andor, and give me more of Director Krennic and his, his path to where he leads in Rogue One. Like, I want to see more of that and less of this awkward date. But all in all, pretty good. Pretty good. Last thing before I leave, though. Last week, Marvel dropped the Fantastic Four First Steps official trailer. And look, I saw it. And I said this before, I'm not a fan of the Fantastic Four, right? I don't really care for them as a group of heroes, as characters. I just don't care. I will say that the movie does look good. in this official trailer. Like the movie, the plot, it looks solid. But I've seen it. I've seen this movie before. In the trailer, this is not a spoiler because it's in the trailer, it's already out there, you can watch it. The main bad guy, is going to be Galactus. He's coming to destroy Earth in their universe. Earth is marked for destruction by Galactus. And the one to bring that message is the Silver Surfer, who in this universe is a female Silver Surfer. No problem with that at all. The problem I have is that this is going to be the same, or pretty much close to the same movie as we saw back in 2006, 7, I don't know, with Fantastic Four, The Rise of the Silver Surfer. It's the same plot. Like, I mean, clearly they put in the trailer, Galactus will be an actual humanoid being who is physical and not just like a cloud from space, right? He's going to be actually Galactus, right? The giant guy, right? He's going to be stepping foot on Earth in this universe, but this is just the same story. And I'm looking online and I'm seeing people talk about it. I'm like, are you guys kind of forgetting that this was already like done like 20 years ago? Like this story's already been done. Why are we getting the same thing? Why are we okay with this? Like, this is totally gonna be a remake or remaster, if you could say, of the old Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer. Like, I recently watched that movie for fun, like 3 weeks ago, and it was not great. It was okay, decent, right? But like, it's the same exact story, and I guess we're okay with them just remaking that entire story, remaking that movie, making the same exact movie. Like, there's beat for beats in this trailer that line up exactly how that movie plays out. Johnny Storm chases the Silver Surfer into space. Silver Surfer pushes him away. He falls back down. Reed Richards like, I couldn't prepare us for this. This is my fault. Them having to fight. This just the fact of the Silver Surfer, right? The same exact beats. Your planet is marked for destruction by Galactus. And I'm like, well, how are they going to beat this guy? He's fucking huge. I'm probably going to assume that the Silver Surfer is going to betray Galactus just like he did in the other movie. Like, it doesn't take a lot of brain cells to look at this and be like, this is just going to be a remake of that movie, which I've already seen a few times already. And I was asked point blank from one of my buddies, like, you gonna go watch that? And I'm like, honestly, no, bro. I've already seen it. I've seen that movie already. It's out. I own it on DVD, actually. I own Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer. When it came out, I bought that when I was a kid. I have it. I have it right there on my movie shelf. I can pop it in whenever I want and watch it, right? And that trailer, while it looked cool, while it looked decent, the effects look good, I just saw the same movie. And a lot of people in the discourse online are just not even bringing that up. Like, this is not just the same story we saw like 20 years ago. We're just going to let them, we're going to let Marvel get away with it? I'm not. That could be a little bit petty on me, on my end, but like, I'm not interested in watching a remake of a movie that I saw already. Give me something new, truly. Come on, guys. Really? We gotta go Galactus for the Fantastic Four? Really? We're gonna get the biggest bad guy in their universe, and we're gonna have him done within one movie, one and done. Galactus, big bad guy of the Marvel universe, comics, whatever, and he's gonna be done in one movie. And don't even try to kid yourself like, oh, he's gonna be back. No, he's not. He won't be back. You don't know Marvel. You haven't seen a Marvel movie. What, have you not seen a Marvel movie within the last like 10 years? They're always the villains are always dead within their first movie, within their introduction of their first movie. They're always dead. Don't kid yourself. I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer, right? Like I said, it does look cool, but I've seen that story before. I know exactly what's going to happen. The Fantastic Four will band together, try to defeat Galactus. They won't be able to on their own. The Silver Surfer will betray him, and then he will die. Bing, bang, boom. Done. Movie's over. I already know. I already don't need to see it. Don't got to see it whatsoever. But of course, it's going to be getting all the praise because of, the people in it. People love Pedro Pascal. I don't really see the hype behind the guy, but whatever. But it'll make its numbers. It might not do as good as it hopes to be. I'm not rooting against it. I'm just saying, like, I've already seen that. I don't need to see it again, right? But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just see the same movie that I saw like 20 years ago in that trailer, and no one even remembered it. No one even thought to, hey, this looks kind of familiar, like the same thing I saw like 20 years ago. Should I even watch this? Should I be excited? I certainly am not. I don't know how most people are, but I'm not. Maybe it'll be different though. Maybe it'll be different enough where people are like, you know what? It's actually its own thing. It's different. Seeing that, I'm like, I don't know. But I don't know a whole lot either, so I could be wrong. But that'll be for the people to decide when the movie comes out in a few months. Anyways, that's going to be it for me today, people. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Remember, you can find this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube at Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva. New episodes drop every Thursday morning. Make sure to like, subscribe, rate, review, and do all that good stuff. And yes, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And I will see you guys next week.